Tech podcast. I'm your host, Helasa Drukarc. I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Marco Mendola.
Too kind. Hi.
And we're joined by Posthumus Meyjes for a very exciting episode hosted by Betty Blocks. We're also at the Betty Blocks headquarters in Alkmaar. We'll be talking all things legal design and how that impacts the innovation landscape in the legal industry. Anna, welcome to the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, for being at Betty Blocks. It's great to see you guys.
Oh, definitely. We're also super happy to bring you to Betty Blocks to show you what we've been seeing all week. Maybe just to kick off, like we've been doing this little tradition where we don't really introduce our guests because it makes more sense for the guests to do that themselves. So could you give us a little intro about yourself, where you started, where you're now, and just go for it.
Absolutely. So my name is Anna. I'm a legal designer. I started my business at Clara Legal Design back in 2019, so or 2018, quite some years ago already. And I used to practice law at law firms. I was always going to say at traditional law firms. Most law firms are still traditional, actually. But I've always been a maker. So I consider myself a maker. I like exploring things. I'm curious. I always like to ask the why questions and why do we do it like this? Can it be improved? Maybe not. Maybe we can. And I like to try out new things and have almost unlimited curiosity about everything. And I guess that's what made me explore an alternative career path as well. A very strange answer to me because we used to rent VHS tapes when we wanted to watch a movie. That was normal. We don't do that anymore. So just because that's something we have always done is never a good reason to me. So of course when you're trained as a lawyer at a law firm, you know absolutely nothing at first, and you're very aware of that. But after a couple of years, I was looking for what's my position within this team, and I changed jobs a couple of times, but the dynamics were kind of similar at every place that I worked with at. And the last law firm I worked at before I started this business, I actually at some point asked the partners if one of my colleagues and I could start the firm's innovation committee. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, so what do you want to innovate? What are you going to spend time on? Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, we're this is our proposal to be the innovation committee, to spend time on researching what we could innovate for this firm. So we don't have that answer yet. Yeah. So that was kind of super confusing to them. In the end, they agreed. Okay. But shortly after, I got burnt out. And eventually I left that firm. But it was getting burnt out was all, not completely, but it was also a sign of me doing my best how to use my skills and the things I was passionate about and the things that I thought needed to be better. A little hand drawn because it looks more professional, and so I experimented a lot. And at some point, I made visualizations for in every case that I did, and also for colleagues in their cases that I was not involved in as a lawyer. And when I got burned out, I realized that there are some parts of the traditional law firm scene that did not align with how I am as a person and how I want to work with clients, how I want to help them. And I realized that I was good at doing this visual communication. People liked it. It was really helpful. The courts liked it. And I was and then people would ask me will the courts accept this? And I was let's just try. We still have text. I mean, so it's we have both. Let's just try. And that's my philosophy in life. Let's just try.
Maybe it's a bit personal as a question, it is personal, but hey, it's on you how you want to formulate. How do you think, let's say, the way through suffering on a personal level has made an impact, not just on your choice, because it's clear you're here with completely different, let's say, profile, different vision, right? I'm saying in the way you delivered your work, what you think your kind of struggles in that period of your professional and personal life have impacted the quality or the shape of the work that you produce. A very practical, down-to-earth approach. Can you give us an answer?
Yes, I think a couple of things come to mind. Maybe two main things. When I understand now the power of community. I did not really feel that sense of community when I started my business in legal design. I think the community was smaller, and I didn't really know anyone who worked in something non-traditional at all. Yeah. At first, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do legal design or transition to information design in general outside of the legal sector. Because I was not sure whether I could really successfully launch a business in the traditional world, right, in the traditional legal sector. I did try, of course, and it worked out, but at first I wasn't sure. So I kind of struggled with that, and I definitely could have used more of a community. But I mean, it's like you have to get to know people, and it takes a bit of time, right? So that feels completely different now. I know so many people, and I feel supported by them. I work with others, so that sense of community is really, really important. The finding your tribe. And I think one other factor that still plays a role in how I work now is that, like, when people ask me to explain what legal design is, or how you can apply it, how it will help your business or whatever, I can talk about, like, what I usually say is, like, legal design is a way to look at problems and look at problem solving. And that may be like like how people understand a contract, or how your legal service is delivered, and with the kind of legal design that I do, because I focus I have a strong focus on information design. It's about communication, and I say when like communication is improved, it improves your relationships, and that's when I go back to as a lawyer, am I part of my client's problem or solution? I now tell lawyers that what happened to me and what I see in other people that in my workshops, in my training, that like discover legal design, is that when you focus more on your users' needs, your clients' needs, when you create more empathy for them, it's gonna help you enjoy your job more, because like we're all human beings. We're all looking for connections, even if it's like a very like a corporate for the professional problem or whatever. But I am absolutely convinced you're gonna have more work satisfaction if you care more about your clients. If you understand them better, they will understand you better. The relationship is improved. You will get better results. They are happier with what you deliver. Yeah. So, since I experienced myself as a lawyer, if you want to approach things a bit differently, legal design is a way, like working with legal design or with other designers, becoming a legal designer, whatever you want. Is a way, I think, also to increase your job satisfaction. So that's important to me. I love seeing people have to get that spark, and it's like you see them in the training, and suddenly it's like in Dutch we would say like where the quarter falls. We say in Dutch, it's like you see like this, ping, and then they're like, oh yeah, and then they're suddenly they go from like, okay, my clients need a contract, I'll go draft this, and then you see them, it's like, okay, And when exactly do you, and like they have questions for the client. Yeah, but that also makes me think like when you, I think it's really important for lawyers, but I know you're gonna agree with me 100% to look outside of your just legal box, right?
Yeah.
So to have a different perspective, to work with others that have a different background, have different skill sets, and for example, as a designer, even though like I usually say like the main product, what I deliver for my clients, is actually two things. Going through the design process is one of my like services, because it's a learning opportunity for people to experience a designer's process, and that's a really new approach. And the second thing is that if you're redesigning a report or infographics, that's the other thing that I deliver. So in the past couple of years, I'm getting back to the point.
But there's no point here. We make the point. Finally, I want to see it. I've been waiting for so long.
So tell us some of maybe just give some examples of projects that you've been working on, maybe taking some of the things that we've been speaking about, this interdisciplinary collaboration, shift of mindset, all things that we've spoken about, take them into consideration when giving these examples. What did this look like?
Well, a couple of things that I do on a regular basis is I help communicating legal content, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, I recently was involved in litigation. Actually, a large law firm asked me to design infographics in appeal proceedings before Court of Appeal. And you know, when you get to appeal proceedings, you've been to district courts before, so a lot has already been said and done. And if you want to be convincing for the court, when there's already this much paperwork, you have to come up with something new or something better. It's not like the facts are different, but you need a new approach. So we designed a lot of visualizations that explained the details of the case. There were a lot of parties involved, and we ended up creating a set of infographics that were shown during the hearing for the court. So they were submitted as part of the court documents from that party. So that's very like litigation related. Of course, that's also how I used it when I still practice law. But on the other spectrum, I have what I regularly do is design compliance guidelines. Like I always say, like no one likes reading compliance information. Like no one reads it. No one wants to read it. But also, it doesn't really look. There's been a lot of like they were put in a lot of effort to make them engaging. There's usually compliance like why don't people read it? It's very important. Yes, it is important, but people have a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's difficult for people to translate that important information to their day-to-day job. So that's where I step in, and together we try to create something more engaging and easier, something easier to digest. So that's compliance. But also recently, and I'm happy to share with you today the project that I did for Wolters Kluwer. So that's completely different. Of course, probably everyone knows that Wolters Kluwer is a huge publisher here based in the Netherlands, and for the legal landscape here in the Netherlands, they're one of the main publishers. One of the things that they publish is called the Green Series, or Groene Serie in Dutch, And it's called the Green Series because it used to be in print, and the cover were green, and it had a different name originally. I don't even know what it was, but every lawyer that works in civil law knows what the Green Series
because
is.
The book is
because it used to be like,
that's the thing.
Yeah. I have the age where I actually experienced the print version as well, but it's of course
we
it's
said
mostly.
We are 16 now.
Oh, sorry, of course. Of course, it's digital now. And the Green Series is really like, it's been around for 50 years. It's sort of like an encyclopedia of civil law. Like everything is in there, and it's article based. So you look up a certain article in law, and then you have like scholars, like academia. So it's like the most acknowledged scholars that write the Green Series. And as a practicing lawyer, no matter where you work, it can be a law firm, but of course can be elsewhere as well, you do your legal research in the Green Series. And so the Green Series really is for practicing lawyers. And whether you have a more like general practice or more specialized practices.
You mentioned quite a while back already now, I want to try to keep it in my mind, that some people say, why would you do this? Why is it necessary to make the law more simple? Why would we do this? If you could give, just as a final wrap up, maybe Marco has some exciting way to finish.
No, please.
No, if you could maybe give some final remarks, some final to the point reasons why should we do this? Why is it relevant for the legal industry, and also why is it relevant for students to embark upon a journey like this, or even understand the world of legal design in the first place? What would you say?
I think in general, people deserve a better experience when confronted with the law, and I believe that legal services. If I just mention legal services, can be other areas of law as well. They can be helped by improving that communication. You want people to be able to self-serve more. So you can call that access to justice, or sometimes I just call it access to law. Like the boring stuff, the day-to-day stuff, like a business signing NDAs, you don't need like specialized lawyers to do that kind of stuff. You need to put that where the person that deals with that on a day-to-day basis in real life. And to lawyers as well, you want to do the exciting stuff, and anything that, like any legal information that you can make accessible to others, should be there for others. And when you mentioned students, like why would you venture into legal design? I think if you have that curiosity and you have you believe in your power, the power you have, like this creativity. I'm convinced everyone has that, but with a lot of people, it's just underdeveloped. There are a lot of different ways you can legal design. You don't have to be study graphic design, by the way, to do legal design. If you get familiar with the design thinking process, it's the mindset, it's the methodology that you can apply. If you want to make something visual, you can always hire a designer. So it's the legal design spectrum is quite broad. But if the curiosity and the creativity excites you, then the legal design may be a good
way to go.
Maybe the way to go. Yeah.
Very, very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's exciting also for us to finally embark upon the legal design journey, which we wanted to do for a while. And even better with you to just kick it all off. So.
Oh, thank you.